Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on the place you are on Earth right now. My name is Tanguy Etoga, and today we'll discuss about digital transformation within the food industry. So I'd like to share my screen so you can see. There you go. So Tanguy Etoga, who is Tanguy Etoga? I'm the founder and CEO of Normex, a food safety software company. I'm very, very passionate about food safety and of course, digital transformation. And that's what we are discussing today. This is one of the major trends of the industry right now. And if you have to live with something today, that will be exactly what I'm about to talk to you about. Did you know that by 2050, there will be 10 billion people on Earth? So that means 10 billion people to feed. Did you know that customers are becoming more conscious about eco-responsible product? And one of the biggest trends is the last one also. There's a change. We saw that right after COVID or within COVID. There's a change in the labor shortage now. And since then, the wages have become much higher, much higher. And as a result, that have shrinked all profit margins. So we don't experience the same profit margin since the COVID and since we have these trends. And before continuing, there's something that I want to do, of course, with you, because I like to know where you are, where you log in from. And then we're going to continue with the onboarding. Then we're going to continue. So let me show you a poll. It's just a 3-question poll, very, very easy. And go ahead, because I've seen that people is logging from all over the place, America and Africa. So please complete the poll, then we'll continue. Very good. So we only have 3 questions left. One question left. And that's it. So I'm going to close the poll and reshare my screen. So as a result, we have about 67 people that says they have a food safety program in place. And of course, 33 said they don't. 56 says they have a HACCP program, and 22% says they have a GFSI program. 11% says they said they are currently implementing. So that's a great thing. And the other 11% said they have nothing in place right now. We have 90% from Africa. That's amazing. And 10% in North America. So let's continue with we're going to continue with exactly where we were. So this is the biggest trends that I was mentioning. And of course, 2050, 10 billion. So just imagine right now we're at 7 billion, 7 something billion mouth to feed. and we have a really hard time to do so. So imagine just in 20 plus years, we'll be 10 billion. Now, this means that there's a big imperative so to go digital transformation. And of course, I like to define what digital transformation means because it can mean a lot of things for different people. So according to Wikipedia, digital transformation is the process of adopting and implementing a digital technology by an organization, of course, by your organization or other organization, in order to create new or modify existing products. So if you have product, you can modify them. If you use paperwork, you use you transition to an electronic means, of course, that digital transformation. And the key words here is technology. So you have to use technology. Why? Because of the efficiency gain that you have after you do digital transformation. Now, I was mentioning on my first slide about the major trends, and this is an imperative choice. Why? Because of the necessity to go to digital transformation. And why is it necessary? Because all these trends, all what I mentioned before, the fact that we are, the population is getting bigger, the world population is getting bigger, that can be perceived as a threat because we have to produce more, right, to be able to feed that population. But also we have to adapt to the new challenges. And the new challenge, of course, and the opportunity that we see ahead is to be able to produce at a higher efficiency rate. And, everything else that I mentioned is exactly aligned with the new trends, right? Now, in terms of competitive advantage, that's something else that I wanted to mention. This is very important as well, is all the food businesses that understand that, they will be the one to take the market. Because of all the shrinks of profit that I mentioned, the goal is to be able to produce at a higher efficiency rate. And the ones that are transitioning the faster, those will be the one to win again. So right now they are 49%. That's one of the OECD statistics. 49% of food companies have transitioned with digital transformation. That's not enough. So that means there are still 51% that are still either looking into it or they haven't even thought about it. They haven't thought about the fact that this has become, it's not a choice anymore because of all these trends. We are going into that direction. Now the goal is, the question is, are we ready to do so? Are we ready to understand what exactly is digital transformation and how it can help the business? So basically this webinar will be in two parts. The first part, of course, is to raise awareness about digital transformation. And the second part, will do a practice exercise at your facility to see how this can help you transition. And the goal is, of course, to stay ahead of the curve, always. Because whenever we have bigger trends, sometimes the trends can be just local, but right now we talk about a worldwide trend. So it's a global trend. That's where everybody's going right now, and at a very fast rate. So most of the attendees here are from Africa. We say 90%, and you probably have some of your cells that have to be aligned with international standards, which means that all the procedures, all the forms, all the records, and you are going for, either you're going for certification or you're already certified. So you have to make sure that you align with international standards. Now, what is the problem with traditional paperwork? And the traditional, that's one of the key problems that we always hear from either our client, our collaborators, our partners. This is the biggest problem with managing paperwork, right? You have to copy, you have to photocopy, you have to scan, you have to file all the records for, shelf life of the product, of your product plus 1 year. All this all the quality manager will understand exactly what I mean. Yes, of course, you can score 90% during your audit, 98% during your audit, and you think that everything works fine. But hey, at the end of the day, this is a business and the business needs to make profit. All these manual activities, we have calculated that it costs you 30% of your efficiency. At some company, it's much higher than that. So I like to say it costs you 30 to about 45% of your efficiency. And that has a direct impact on your bottom line, a direct impact. And the bottom line is that at 10K per year. That's 10,000 US dollars that you are actually wasting every year because of the fact that you're using all this paperwork. Of course, you scored 95% during the audit, but that's not enough anymore. So now that we know the problem and you understand exactly what's the impact of using paperwork, what's the negative impact, now the next step now is to say, well, if I want to look further, I want to know exactly, well, we are wasting at least 10K per year. We are, giving away 35 to 50% of our efficiencies because of all this paperwork, printing, copy, photocopy. You have to also manage the versions, manage the revisions of the procedures, manage the suppliers, sending emails back and forth, filing certificates. So all these tasks, you waste all this money managing all those tasks. And the trends is really against that. So what's the power of digital transformation here? And how will digital transformation is a solution, especially in food safety? Because food safety, what we've seen so far is, automotive industry, all other industry are much higher and much advanced. They have already started transitioning. Some of them have even completed transition. But what we've seen is, especially the food industry, we always at the bottom of the, of the line, right? And that's something that our goal is to have this curve, to have this, reversed, so we can be ahead of the line. The digital transformation in food safety, it will be on those 4 axes, the ones that you currently see on the screen. So the first one is efficiency. I was mentioning you are losing 30 to 50% of your efficiency right now. So this will be a big key to this problem. Of course, quality. Some of the companies have labs. Some of the companies have to maintain the quality program. And most of you have to maintain a food safety program. We've seen that in the survey, some of you, 11%, they have not implemented yet, and they're thinking about implementing. So this is actually the right time, and to do it right the first time, because when you go with paperwork, after that, you have to transition again. Speed. That's one of the big saving when you transition with digital transformation. And I can tell you, in terms of speed, we've had some collaborator that says, hey, we were able to save an hour every day. So just think about it. You were a company with 10, 20, 50, 100, 500 employees, 1,000 employees, and you're able to save 1 hour, 1 man hour. That's a lot of money that you're saving, and that's high efficiency. So that's exactly correlated with cost. So if you're able to improve your efficiency, improve your quality, improve your speed, well, chances are you're going to be able to reduce your cost. And basically, that's exactly what digital transformation is about, to be able to tackle all these problems one by one and able to be efficient and still relevant to the market and your profit margin, and to be able to face all those major trends that I mentioned before. Now, I'd like to introduce you to Nomics. When we discuss all this digital transformation and all these problems and how you are able to solve the problem, who is Nomics exactly? Well, Nomics is a food safety company and we are a food safety software company located in Canada. And we automate all your food safety tasks. We automate all the food safety tasks and operations. And the bottom line is we are able to do that through our software. It's a cloud-based software. And that software, you can use that. When we say cloud-based, that means you don't need to have anything installed on your computer. You have your username and your password. And I'm going to show you a demo how you're able to implement digital transformation at the company and what are the steps to do that. So you have Fruit for Thought. Then, of course, we have operations, of course, here in Canada, in the US, in Dubai, and in Africa, in Ivory Coast. We do have also in Kenya. So I like to show you some of the case studies that we have. So that will be very helpful, these case studies. One example, just for you to understand the power of digital transformation. You have the top left here, a company called Bad Monkey. And this company came to us and say, hey, we have these problems, we have this amount of paperwork, and we like to eliminate all that because it costs us big time dollar figures. And we want to be able to transition. They were able to do all their transitioning in a couple of months. And they don't have paperwork anymore running into the system. So they were able to save not only in efficiency, but also in cost. You have another one here, one is ice cream, that were able to save $60,000 man hour in just a few months. Why? We asked them, how many employees do you have in quality? There were only 20 employees in total, and they had 5 in quality. So the question was, okay, what are all these 5 employees do in quality? Well, the answer was they have so many paperwork that they have to manage all this paperwork to be able to maintain the SQF program. When they started transitioning, and they said they attended one of these webinars, they started transitioning, they were able to save $60,000 just in a few months because they didn't print, they didn't copy, they didn't photocopy, they didn't scan, and the transition by moving 3 employees, for example, in production, and kept 2 in quality. So that's one of the use case. Again, this is Michigan, Snackworth. They did everything with automation as well. So in their case, they have sensors, because we do have sensors. You don't need to take temperatures in fridge and in coolers in cold rooms. You stick your sensor in your room, and then all the information goes automatically into Normex. Send you alerts whenever you need, whenever you're outside of the control limit. These are automatic alerts. So those are the places where you're going to be able to save time instead of going and do manual checks all the time and then paperwork. I'm not going to go with all of them. I'm just showing you some of the biggest saving. Slipakoff, bottom left. They were able to do everything in 4 months. 4 months. They had the HACCP program to implement, and they were able to implement that in 4 months. Like me, that it takes about 12 months, sorry, to implement a food safety program. Now, of course, you can go on our website to look at all these case studies, and then you can go into the details to see exactly what happens for all of them. And you're going to see how this can have a direct impact on your facility in everything that you're currently doing. Okay. So I like to show you a case studies, the actual demo of Normex, how this can be implemented at your facility. What will be the result? Because we are looking at result. You are maintaining your food safety program, and you're currently maintaining that on paperwork. And before I go with this demo, I like to let you know, whenever you have any question, please don't wait till the end. Ask your question as we go. So we have about 40 minutes left. We're just 20 minutes in. And you have a question and answer section at the bottom of your screen. So just enter all the questions, and as I see the question, I'll be able to answer all these questions. All the standards in the world, all of them, whether it's HACCP, whether it's any GFSI, SQF, BRC, FSSC 22000, ISO 22000, etc., they ask you for the same thing. They ask you for monitoring, and they ask you for verification, all of them. Now, currently the monitoring is done by your operators, your supervisors, and they do monitoring. And once they finish doing monitoring, they send all the information to the quality manager, who will be the ones to do all the verification. So usually what we see, the quality manager, they have a pine. I've been quality manager myself actually, but that was a long time ago, and I know exactly what it was, having to sign off all the paperwork one by one. So what we've done within Nomex is we solved that, and we solved that with technology. The system is designed within two parts. So you have what we call the supervisor profile, and you have what we call the manager profile. The supervisor profile are, it's all the operators that do all the monitoring. The manager profile are, is the manager. And of course, you can have also executives, but these are the two main profiles. So whenever you are, I'm going to act now as a quality manager, and I come to my screen every morning. This can be done on a tablet. It can be done on a computer, on a cell phone. And you need, of course, internet connection to be able to connect. You connect here, and then you are able to create all your supervisors within Nomex. So when I come here to my screen, I'm able to create all the supervisor, and then you're going to be able to see all the assignment that you have. You can assign procedures. You can assign, we also handle inventory management. You can assign all the temperatures checks. You can assign, truck loading, truck unloading, build inspection. We've made it so it meets the requirement of your specific standards. That's how Nomex was created for. So you don't have to recreate all the program. Light intensity, plastic inspection, add preventive maintenance, and so on. So you have all of them. You have some information like visitors. So we have QR codes for visitors. So they don't need to write off on a paperwork, to sign off on a paperwork. They come in, they have the QR code that's hanged at your door. They scan in, they complete the visitor survey that you create. They go out, they scan out, all the information go automatically into Nomex. So that's how fast it is. And then you have all these other module, and of course you have quality control module. Now, once this is created and then this is assigned to each supervisor, what happened is the supervisor receive all, that's where all the notifications start. Basically, that's where they kick in. Before that, before I show you that, I'd like to show you some of the example about the dashboard. You have your quality meeting, you have your executive meetings. This is where you're going to be able to see everything in your system, wherever you are, whether you are in Nairobi, you are in Montreal, you are in Cancun, you see what happens on the production floor. And if you have more than one facility, you're going to be able to see all the sites, right? So you have all the non-conformities here, the complaint, the supplier. We also carry health and safety, so you don't need to manage that on the, on paperwork. All the monitoring of effectiveness, that's handled also within the platform. You manage all the trainings on the platform, and then of course temperature control. And then all the temperature control, you can say, for example, I want to know what happened in my cooler, my freezer, and then this will always be according to your specific control limits. Upper control limit, lower control limit. Whenever this goes outside of your control limit, you receive an alert. Same thing for humidity. So this is actually real time, basically. So you don't need to go and then check yourself all the time. Now, The second automation, of course, the second automation is everything regarding your procedures. So you have procedures, and all your procedures have to be maintained. Maintaining, as you know, it means you have to write the procedure, you have to edit the versions, edit the revision, you have to print, or you have to send all those procedures to your operators. They have to remove, or you have to remove all the, all the older versions, and then have a record, a log of change. All these tasks are just inefficient. Why? Because they take a long time. It's prone to make mistakes, etc. So within the platform, I'm going to open one at random. I'm going to open, for example, the complaint management. All your procedures, whether you have them or not, you can have them directly on the platform. 11% of you don't have anything yet. That means all these, whenever you start with Nomex, it's loaded with procedures. And all these procedures are the one that you pick and choose, but they all meet the requirement of all standards. You name it, it's been vetted by all these certifications company. And of course, if you already have yours are uploaded here. But the biggest idea here is you are able to work directly on the platform. See, when I open this, I can show you that I can just remove this, and then I start working, I start typing. Once I finish typing, I'm able to just once I finish typing, I'm going to come back. Once I finish typing, I'm just able to go outside of this, and then I can update my procedure. And then when I update, all the information is pushed directly to all my managers, all my supervisors, the ones that have assigned the procedure. So they see the latest version. And what happened to the revisions, what we've created here in Nomex, we've created the log, what we call the log of event. What is the log of event? The log of event is what you're currently doing, but manually. So for each procedure, for each module, for each form, if we change anything here, this will always tell me when I change it, the day and the time, who changed it, and what's been changed, what's the description, all automatic. That's using technology. So if you edit, this is going to be also recorded. If you replace a word, this will tell you this is what you replaced, this is what you added, or this is what you deleted. And all this will be always in your history. So this is perfectly auditable. And that's what the auditor like to see. What's been done and by whom and when, of course. Now, the next automation is one of the biggest one as well, is monitoring and verification. Earlier, I was talking about the supervisor that you create. So let's pretend that you have created the supervisor, and the supervisor start in the morning. This is the supervisor screen. So I just opened another screen to show you what the supervisor sees. The supervisor on his screen will have a dashboard also, and his dashboard is similar, close to the ones that you have, right? And this tells me, for example, that I have 9 non-conformities. I can click on any non-conformity to see, I can click on the detail to see the trends. So you have a trends analysis here. This tells me, for example, 40% of my non-conformities are either human error or foreign material. And all this is perfectly editable. So you can enter your own categories. This is automatic. This tells me that my company closes non-conformity in 10 days. So you have a good understanding about what's going on internally, so you can react faster. And that's exactly the same approach for all other charts on the dashboard. Now, I'm the supervisor. I use my tablet, I use my cell phone. I go on my production floor and I click go to pending task. This is to see what tasks I have to do today. Because as the quality manager is busy, the quality director, he doesn't want to have to print all the time the schedule of all activities. The system will handle that. And when the task is due, it goes automatically on the dashboard of the person that needs to do the task. Here you have room temperature daily. So that means every day this appears on the profile of the supervisor. You have plastic, hard plastic inspection. This is a monthly task. Preventive maintenance, monthly task. So if I open room temperature here, for example, this is daily task, complete the task. I click on complete the task. What I see when I click on complete the task, I actually see the module itself, okay? I see what I have to do. And for this one, this is connected to a sensor. So you have a choice. You can have a task that you do by yourself, as for room temperature. You go in your fridge, you go in your cooler, and you take all these temperature automatically, or you can have the system doing that for you, right? And then when you have the system doing that for you, this is completed every hour. Temperature, humidity, temperature, humidity, and then it appears on the dashboard. Those are all the tasks that were completed by your sensors. Now, when this is completed, it goes to the manager to be approved. I'm going to show you another task that you have to complete. The next task that you have to complete, of course, is your sanitation. Very important. This comes every day, right? So you have daily tasks, you have weekly tasks, you have monthly, yearly tasks, etc. When you click on complete the task for sanitation, what do you see? You see the time, you see the date, and you have all the rooms. What's in purple are all your rooms, and within the rooms, you have all the checklists, all the items that you have to complete. This is where the automation kicks in, because it allows you not only to have a pop-up when your daily temperature appears, also the weekly, semi-annual. This is customizable. So you customize, you do your own temperature checks, and then you have pop-ups whenever the task is due, and then this appear per room. Here, you have to determine, of course, the status, whether it's compliant, non-compliant, okay? When you click non-compliant, what happens is you have a corrective action that appears automatically. You cannot log any records if this is empty. And this is one of the key items that we added into Nomics. We embedded that to provide your operators more support. If I try to submit this area, it will tell me, hey, I cannot submit, this is empty. So I'm going to be able to write something here. And then, of course, I can attach a picture, or if I use a cell phone or a tablet, I can take a picture on the fly. Once I finish doing all this, I'm able to now submit my task. So when I submit the task, all the record will appear automatically down below. Not only this form will tell me when is the last time I completed this item, but also when I go down, I have all the tasks that appear automatically. So just imagine when you have an audit. The auditor asks you, can you provide me with your pre-operational inspection from April 3rd? This is what they ask. Can you provide me with your sanitation of this room of January 2nd? Or, the building inspection. I want to see the exterior of the building inspection from March 21st. So all these tasks you have to, of course, when you use paperwork, you have to retrieve the information. This lose time, it wastes money, etc., etc. Whenever you have digital transformation and you've been asked this kind of question, you have the answer in seconds, because you can select the dates, whether it's a specific day or whether it's it's a range. If you want to know from this day to this day, you're able to provide that. You're even able to provide per room, all the records per room, or per frequency. Everything will appear. So this is also another automation. Now, what does the quality manager see? Whenever any operator will be able to submit the task, of course, the quality manager needs to review the records. This is his job or her job, because ultimately they are responsible of the food safety program. They're coordinating the food safety program. So the quality manager, before going to the quality manager, I'd like to show you what happened at the supervisor's level on the dashboard. So if we go to pending task, The supervisor, he goes back on his dashboard. He had 7 tasks to complete. Now he has 6 tasks. 6 tasks. So all these tasks needs to be completed today. If I click on pre-op inspection, the pre-op inspection module opens, and then all the pre-ops, as you know, of course, the pre-op inspection is the inspection that we have to do before we start production. And then you have all the rooms in purple, and then within the room, you have all the checklists. Same for all of them. So I can check all, and then I can submit. Same process. If it's non-compliant, you can have a corrective action. You can attach picture. And then all the way down, of course, you have a comment section, and then I can click submit. When I click submit, all the records appear automatically down below. So this will tell you and will tell an auditor which site, what was the time, and what was the actual items that were completed, and what was the status, compliant or non-compliant, who completed the task, this completed by, or who monitored the task. And I'm going to go one last time on my dashboard to see what happens as soon as I complete my pre-op. So when I complete my pre-op, what happens is I had 7 tasks, 6, now I have 5. So imagine the operator on the floor. He sees that his day is moving forward. So he knows that these are the tasks that he needs to do for he has a program. It's not extra tasks. It goes along with his normal work because this has become part of his normal work. This is a need for him. All these tasks, now I'm opening the manager's profile to show you what happens, how the automation goes on the manager's profile. The manager comes in the morning, or the manager is away, but he still wants to check what happens. We have a button here called Go to Pending Approvals, meaning go to pending verifications, basically. When we click on Go to Pending Approvals, the manager, he's going to be able to see for each and every operator what has been submitted or what has been monitored. And he can do all his monitoring, all his verification once a day, once a week, he decides, but everything is here. And I'm going to show you an example of what we've seen. If I go, for example, on page 4, you're going to see, well, we've done premises, we've done, work order, light intensity. So he has to approve all that. And the way to approve that is you can do that, you can just select one item to be able to see what's within that, what's been submitted and what was the status. You select and close, and then you can do that for all items. Once you select and close, this will appear automatically. You see it's been selected here, it's been highlighted. And I can go back here and I can click on approve, meaning verify. Or if you know exactly what happens on each and every task, you see this, there's no corrective action. We have what we call batch approval. So imagine your paperwork, all the paper that you have on your desk that you have to approve. This is the electronic version of that. But this is done in one click. Once I click approve, it asks me, do you want to approve all 100 items at once? Yes. If I approve all the items at once, this will disappear from my dashboard as the quality manager. Everything has been approved. And how do I know that everything has been approved? I just need to go back. Not only it disappears from here, but I just need to go on any module that was submitted to me. Let's go, for example, to sanitation. You're going to see exactly what happens when you go to sanitation or pre-op. I'm going to show you an example right here. You see, you have the demo, you have the time, you have all the tasks that's been completed. You have completed by, so the name of the person that submitted the task, approved by, this will be you as a quality manager with the approval date. So basically, that's how it will be for all the records that you have, whether it's food safety, quality, health and safety. So that's how this automation is done. Now, the next automation, of course, is your approved supplier. And this is one of the biggest one, because right now, how you do approved suppliers, you have a questionnaire, you have a letter of guarantee, you have an email that you send to your supplier. you send to the supplier, they ignore you. During the audit, you have 30% of the supplier that have responded. You have to follow up with all your suppliers. I know the drill, and we've been working with this for a long time, and we think we've found something that actually works best. So within the software, what you do is you have, of course, the approved supplier. You create your questionnaire directly on the platform. Once you create the questionnaire appears right here. And of course, you have one questionnaire for type of supplier. So you have food supplier. We added categories here, whether it's a food material, packaging, transportation. So you can have a questionnaire for each one of them. Once you create your supplier, how do you create the supplier? You create a supplier from this screen. And you can select the language that the supplier speaks, and then the same email will be sent automatically to that supplier. Of course, you add all the items of that supplier, country of origin, etc. So one thing is that the supplier will go automatically in the not approved section. The supplier receives an email, and that email tells him, well, it's a standard email that tells him, well, you need to upload your information. The supplier will be able to upload the information directly on the platform because he will have a link to open a portal for him to upload the information. You approve the supplier, and the supplier becomes approved. All the information on the supplier appear here. So whether it's the expiry certificate date, it appears here. You can see that. The certificate actually is right there on the screen. So when you click that, the auditor asks you for the certificate. You can see, you can show the screen to the certificate. You can show the certificate to the auditor, and then you also have all this information. Now, what happened when a supplier does not respond? We added the button here. So instead of chasing in your email, going back and forth, we added the button here. You just select the supplier, and then you click this button, you send a notification. You can either send now, or you can send at a later date. You choose. Once you click send notification, an email is sent out to the supplier. And all this is monitored directly on your dashboard. Right here, this dashboard. So you see exactly what 33% of my supplier are approved. So you're going to have a flag, and then you're going to have the detail of what's going on for each one of the supplier. So that's how all this automation is completed and it's done. Okay, so I have one or two more automation. Then we're going to take some question because time goes fast, of course. And the next automation is quality. We receive a lot of questions on quality, and I actually even see one of the questions that went in is we have a lab, and yes, we do food safety, and we see that this may help in food safety, transitioning for digital transformation. But what about lab? So what we have here is this also have lab, of course. And we have dashboard that can help you also make decisions. So for the lab, you do quality tests in the lab. And we do have quality control. If I go to my manager here and I go to quality, we have a quality section. When I click on quality section, you are able to create any quality test within Nomics, any quality control test within Nomics. What is an ingredients quality control test or a finished product quality control test? I select my product, and I select here the product, or I select the ingredients here, and I'm able to, let's pretend I'm selecting apple. Okay, what exactly am I doing in terms of quality control? Is it a sensory analysis? Yes, I'm going to be able to add all the quality control items. If it's a measurement, right here in a measurement, minimum, maximum, and then you add the units. So that's how it's done. Okay. Now, I have a question about highlight area of HACCP, TACCP, VACCP. That's a very good question. So this is, I'll do that right after quality control. Thank you for the question. And this is completed, and all the supervisor, all the quality lab will be able to, you're going to be able to assign this task. and they're going to be able to do sensory analysis. They're going to be able to do any type of measurement. That's for your quality. And then, of course, you have a report. You can even print certificate of analysis directly from Nomics, because it provides you that information with your logo directly embedded on a PDF file. Okay, so this is the quality control aspect. Now, let's go now to everything regarding HACCP, VACCP, TACCP. I like to call that the hazard assessment. That's how I like to call it, because this is basically a hazard assessment. Whenever you have a new ingredients, you're going to be able to create your ingredients. This is very important that you create your ingredients. And then we have many categories here of ingredients, other than over 100 categories. And for each one of these categories, we embedded hazard assessment for each one of them. And of course, you can add your own. But this has been vetted by, for example, CFIA, that's the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and then the FDA, because we do have clients also in the States, and that's what they use. And then you have all this. Once you create all the ingredients appear here, and then you have all the categories there. Why does that matter? It matters because whenever you implement a HACCP program, you have to do a hazard analysis. If you implement a GFSI program, you do have to do a hazard assessment. Now, what does that mean? It means that you have to be able to answer, and you have to be able to create all the hazard assessment. This can take you 6 months to create the hazard assessment. And I'm going to show you how. When you have this open, all this hazard assessment comes in what we call incoming material, right? This is where you have to, in your hazard assessment, you have to be able to add your incoming material. This form is done automatically based on the ingredients that you have. And from this form, all the hazard assessment is sent to what we call Form 5.8. And Form 5.8 is the hazard analysis. So hazard analysis get all this form and put that on the table. That's where your hazard assessment is completed. And you have 3 areas when you do your hazard assessment automatically. You're not doing, the system does that for you based on your information. So you have your ingredient incoming material that you added, you select the category, and then this is what happens. You have on the green line, this is your ingredient category, and right below you have the hazard assessment done. Whether it's chemical, physical, or biological, the system will tell you. And of course, all this is customizable, it's editable. But this is a good start, a very good start for you, because it's done within seconds once you create your ingredients. And then we even provide you, we suggest you some of the area when you can control your hazard, because this is a requirement. You have to state the hazard, and then you have to, of course, determine the likelihood, the severity, the risk score, and then where you control the hazard. The next automation is your processing steps. You have to do hazard analysis on processing steps. So directly on the platform, we also did the same thing for all the processing steps here. You are able to create your processing step because we added over 100 processing steps. And for all these processing steps, they are hazard assessment completed. So you're going to play with the column, the arrow, left, up, down, left, right. And then you're going to have processing steps here embedded into your system. All this information will go directly to your hazard assessment and hazard analysis, the same place where we were, but we're going to go to the second tab. So that's your hazard assessment that will appear here on the second tab. And this will determine, okay, you have receiving, this is your biological hazard, this is your hazard, biological hazard, chemical hazard, physical hazard. So imagine how much time you save to complete this. You may also already have this, because I seen that 22% were certified, but all the information, you embedded that in the system, and then you never have to touch paperwork again. Once a year, you have to review this program. That's your hazard reassessment. And then once you review the program, if you have a new processing step, you can add that. You can remove processing step. You can add new ingredients. You can remove new ingredients. And then, of course, you have cross-contamination areas also that's completed here in Nomics. So the system will provide you some cross-contamination hazard assessment based on the information that you submitted. And then you're able to, of course, decide, okay, this makes sense for me, or I want to edit that. And then it's perfectly acceptable to be able to edit that. Okay, so I like to take the opportunity to have the 10 minutes that's left to answer some of the questions that we have, because whenever you start talking about digital transformation, we can discuss for hours, because this is so relevant, especially on the trends that we currently see. So at this point, I'd like to take some of the questions that you have. So let me go to the screen and then see some of the questions. Okay, so I see one question here about the automation from monitoring and verification that we saw at the beginning. So the question is, how do we ensure the name of the employee that does all the monitoring? Is it written for, is it auditable? Do they have to sign off? Of course, the answer is they don't have to sign off, because the system, the way the system does is, we discuss digital transformation and automation. They don't need to sign anything off. They just need to have the username and the password. The system will remember the username and the password. So every activity that they do within the system will have their name attached to it. So whenever they press the button that says submit, the system will take the name. And I think I showed you an example earlier, but let me show that to you again. And this cannot be changed. This cannot be overwritten. So if you see, for example, okay, I have an example here. You see completed by. That means this person did the activity, and then the name is there. So that's the electronic signature, which is perfectly auditable, because it has that credibility of not being editable. Next question. Is it possible to have micro completed within the system? Yes. So what you have to think about, you have to think about the system as, we don't sell features, we don't discuss features, we discuss food safety monitoring, food safety management. So you think about food safety, you think about all the aspects in food safety, that's what's embedded into the system. So we don't have a specific area, we have all the area within food safety, you name it, whether it's food defense, food fraud, what's your requirement basically. So in terms of micro, yes, the system can handle micro. You can enter all your micro analysis directly into the system. You can attach your micro certificate, or if you do have a lab, you can produce a certificate directly within Nomics whenever you do any type of quality test. Do you have a preventive maintenance program embedded into the system? Again, yes, because preventive maintenance program is part of the food safety management. And we have a section where you can do preventive maintenance within, we divided that into categories so it's easier to navigate here. You have a section here called equipment. And these categories are the ones that usually fall within the food safety area. And then we also have a management section, of course. If I go to equipment here, you're going to be able to see you have equipment calibration, but you have preventive maintenance. What can you do in the preventive maintenance? Of course, you can not only create your equipment, add your equipment here, but also add the preventive maintenance to be done and determine whether it's a daily preventive maintenance, a weekly. You have all type of frequency here, and then you can add yours. Whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, etc. And of course, you can add yours. Now, once you complete the preventive maintenance, the operator will have an alert, and that alert will tell him, okay, this is now the time to do preventive maintenance, etc. Okay, so this is really great. How can we incorporate a mock recall? Very good question. Now, mock recall, yes, it's also possible within Nomics. The way you do mock recall, of course, you have to do your recall, And to be able to do the recall, you have to have 3 areas, right? You have to have traceability, and then traceability is 3 areas. You have receiving, you have production, and then you have shipping. Let me show you what you have in terms of receiving, because some companies, they do have a software to do all their tasks, and some company don't. I'm going to show you the one that you, when you don't have the software, you can directly use Nomics to do all your receiving, shipping, and production. So whenever you enter any truck unloading here within Nomics, you enter the information, it becomes available here. Now I have my PO here, I have my supplier, I could have all the details for each one of the supplier and for the product. Okay, this is all the information that I have for my receiving. And then of course I have all the items to be verified whether it's compliant or non-compliant. All this information goes into the system. Now whenever you do production, the same thing will happen. All the information go to the production. Let me show you a production sheet. This is where you're going to be able to enter all your production. Where is I'm going to show you this product. You have all the ingredients here that appear, you have the lot number, you have the quantity, etc. So all this information goes into the system. So whenever it's time to do your mock recall, we have a module specifically for mock recall right here. When I found it, of course, mock recall, yes, mock recall is right here. And then for mock recall, you can go from ingredients or you can go from finished product. If I go from ingredients, of course, I'm going to be able to select the ingredients. And when I tap the lot, I add the lot number here. I'm going to be able to have the quantity received. If you have any waste, it will appear here. If you have quantity in inventory, then of course you enter the reaction time, right? And then this is the percentage amount that you trace. And then if you have any corrective action that you have to put into the system, this is where you're going to be able to upload the supporting document for the auditors to see. If you go for a finished product, information will be exactly the same. So you're going to be able to select your product and then the lot number, and then from that, the quantity produced for that lot number will appear. So this is how your mock recall is completed. So all done semi-automatically because you have to enter the lot numbers, but much faster than you working with paperwork. And of course, if you do have a standalone system like an ERP, etc., you can get information from that system and then attach that right here. And this will be perfectly acceptable for an auditor to see. You have to complete, of course, these sections. That's the HACCP and GFSI sections, basically. I'm able to take one last question before we call it the meeting. The question is, do you have a mock crisis management within the system? And what the other question, okay, let's take that one. Yes, we do have mock crisis management. We handle also CCPs. So the mock crisis is into the management section. This is right here. And you're able to, of course, upload your own checklist for mock crisis management. This is where you're going to be able to upload your own checklist, and then it will look like this. And of course, whenever it's time to do your mock crisis, your own checklist will be uploaded, and then the information will appear once a year or at your own frequencies. And all this information is done. You can check on the calendar. Of course, you can have a calendar view to know exactly what's done, what's to do, what's in red, it's the uncompleted tasks, what's in green are the tasks that are completed. So that's how you can handle and manage all your food safety program. So at this point, I'd like to thank you for participating in this meeting. I'm going to share my screen one last time to show you if you would like to get in contact with us. I'm going to share you the information about get in touch with us so you can actually contact with us. So I'd like to say thank you very much for your participation at this webinar. This is one of our biggest webinars because I see there's a lot of people connected. That's very appreciated. And that means that you are aware about all these trends. You're aware about your pain points, about working with the food safety program on a paperwork or manually, and then going towards digital transformation. So I hope this was very informative for you. And don't wait, take action to improve and improve your efficiency by, we said, 30%. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great day or have a great evening, depending on where you are. Thank you.